A very good evening. It's a brand new month. It's the 1st of July 2017 and you are tuned on to weekend edition of Primetime News. They come to you live and direct this evening from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Zola Outskun. Let's start off with a look at our headline making stories.
Gum at the 1000 Projects Initiative begins. Norway delegation to inspect Umaoe project. Minister of Higher Education appeals to protesting medical students to focus on education. Dengue forces temporary shutdown of university.
Sri Lanka's largest rural development movement, Gammabda, launched its third phase today in 5 districts across Sri Lanka. The International Diplomatic Corps were part of today's events. Projects were launched in the Jaffna, Ratnapura, Mathura, Anuradhapura and Puttlam districts.
With insurmountable contributions of philanthropists and the blessings of the general public, the Gammabda initiative managed to solve many public issues that went unsolved in the past, and today the Gammabda team expanded its horizons in serving the people of this country. The pressing issue that people in Varani North in Jaffna face is a lack of access to clean drinking water. There's only one public well that caters to the needs of around 100 families living in the area. The well dried up with arid weather, leaving these people without any access to clean drinking water. A project launched under the Gammabda Vada Dahasak initiative set the foundation to solve this serious issue.
குடிநீர் இல்லாத தட்டுப்பாட்டிலிருந்து வாழ்ந்து வந்தங்களுக்கு இப்ப சத்தி கிராமத்திலே எங்களுக்கு தண்ணி
நாடளாவிய ரீதியிலே
We have informed the politicians to solve these matters. However, through Gammabda, we will solve the issues that were not solved by politicians.
அவர்கள் தேர்தலுக்காக வருவார்கள்.
The construction of a rural road in the Pilakumbura village in the Balangoda Divisional Secretariat in Ratnapura commenced today in a bid to bring relief to the 300 plus families living there. This road, which falls across a series of paddy fields, turns into a dangerous swamp when it rains, causing many difficulties to villagers. The construction of this road, which has not seen any form of renovation for almost 2 decades, was identified as an important requirement, and we decided to bring a solution to this.
Almost all media institutions pointed out the various issues in the villages. The elephants we see are worse than the elephants that are deaf. We are constructing a road. Who is responsible for this? It is not you. It is the leadership that you elected. That is why we decided to empower the leadership in you through Gammabda.
The project to renovate the Methodist school in Urugamur in Mathura was launched today as well. The senior management of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, as well as international diplomats, including the Second Secretary of the Australian High Commission Suzanne Jones and Secretary of Indian High Commission Nitin Subhash Yola, visited the school for the launch of the renovation projects. Sitija Niran from this school, who topped island rankings at the Grade 5 scholarship examination last year, made a request to address the shortcomings in this school when he visited the Newsfirst headquarters to speak on his achievement. Today, what was only a dream of the teachers and students became a reality.
About 5.8 million Australians, approximately 1/3 of our population, volunteer. This makes an estimated $290 billion Australian dollar contribution to our economic and social good. Today, you should all be proud of what you are doing. I wish you all the best for this project and what comes next. Stuti.
We are very lucky that you have an organization like them supporting you in all your needs, in your present and in your future. India has been working very closely with Sri Lanka. Just to give you an example, once you grow up and you go to Ruhuna University, we are building one auditorium in the name of great philosopher and poet Rabindranath Tagore in Ruhuna University. You might get to see that once you grow up. These are the two countries, India and Sri Lanka, which are right now driven by younger generation.
We must come together to move the nation forward. Unity is the need of the hour, and it is left to us, the people, to get together and drive change and move Sri Lanka forward.
For a prolonged period, the people in the 40th colony of Padaviya and Radhapura suffered without access to clean drinking water. In order to address this issue, the government, the 1000 Projects Initiative, launched the installation of a water purification unit today. The event was attended by the senior management of the Capital Maharaj Organisation Limited and the Acting High Commissioner of Pakistan, Dr. Sarfraz Ahmad Khan Sipra.
This job is not an easy job, particularly coming to the communities, talking to them, convincing them, and making them a stakeholder. You need to have a lot of trust for that.
The Gammad initiative has proven to be a success because of young Sri Lankan leaders. We will not stop no matter who tells us to stop. We will continue to strive forward because the people are with us.
The people from Mampuri in Kalpitiya, Putlam were among the beneficiaries from the Gammad the 1000 Project Initiative. These people mainly depend on the fishing industry and faced many hardships due to the absence of a maritime light tower. Located close to the Norichole power plant, many fishing boats suffered serious damages after coming into contact with ships and other large vessels. The launch of the construction of a maritime light tower to revive the aspirations of the fishing community took place today under the auspices of the senior management of the Capital Maharaj Organisation Limited.
I feel good because this is not only an utility, but it is also a symbolic that it provides the direction for people to save their life, for their life. So in a way, it connects with the role as a leading organization we are playing.
Together, with the strength of the people and those who joined to bring an end to the suffering of their fellow countrymen, the Gammad initiative continues to grow with experience and results.
Mathura, Balangura, Kalpitiya, Padaviya, Jaffna. We are ready to begin work together with you across 5 districts. The Gammad the 1000 Projects Initiative, 1st July.
We'd like to shift your attention onto yet another headline-making story this evening. The President's media unit says Norwegian experts will arrive in the country to inspect the Umaoya multi-purpose project next month. The communique was issued following a meeting presided over by President Maithripala Sirisena last night.
The discussion took place with the participation of the people who have been severely affected by the Umaoya project and their public representatives. The President had instructed to prioritise the needs of the people and to look into the future course of action that need to be taken with regard to the project. The communique also noted that issues surrounding the houses, water and farmlands should be swiftly resolved with the assistance of the relevant ministry officials.
Our skilled engineers informed that when it comes to such an issue relating to a tunnel, the experts in this field are from Norway. I spoke with the ambassadors from Norway and Switzerland last week. When I spoke to the Swiss ambassador, he informed me that an expert who is a German national is currently in the country for a separate assignment. He then advised that we get his assistance. We got a message from Norway that a group of experts will arrive in the country in the first week of next month. We will be able to be reached with a decision based on the advice that we obtain from these experts. I believe that this is good if the project could make progress. We will be able to reach a decision based on the advice that we obtain from these experts. I believe that it is good if this project could make progress. I will hold discussions with several others who have a sound knowledge of this. I will, however, discuss the possibility of temporarily suspending this project. There was request made to stop the construction of remaining 5.5 kilometers to ascertain whether or not there is an alternate measure that can be taken through scientific research with the assistance of experts. We have made a special request to establish a presidential commission in this regard. As we were only given 2.5 hours, we could not raise most of our issues. There are tons of issues that need to be resolved, and 2 hours to line up these issues is not sufficient. Ambassadors will be summoned to obtain aid. The experts will determine on the success of this project. It was clear through my proposal that a large number of compensation needs to be given. Therefore, I propose for the immediate closure of this. If an explosion takes place from within, we can seal it off and nothing more will be, and a compensation will be provided. Even if it means to close the tunnel within a week, it can be done after the experts' advice. I wondered why there was no compensation. I personally believe that they could have just held discussions first before resorting to a protest. If Arab company is incurring a loss because of the Umayyad project, then the company can claim for 2/3 of its lost money through insurance from companies around the world. Our policymakers make decisions at the expense of the environment and the effect on the public by prioritizing multi-million companies. Even when there were massive water leaks of underground water, local and international experts turned a blind eye. Therefore, we are compelled to suspect that the Iranian company did this for monetary gains. The Umayyad project was a topic of discussion on the political stage today as well. They placed massive burdens on us and are expecting us to solve them. With regard to the Umayyad issue, the secretaries of those ministries were removed because they said it is not possible. Executive powers were used to launch this project. It is a crime to stop a project halfway when a large amount of public funds have been used. There is no point in just asking. When we were around, they did only a little amount of work. They can take a decision on the matter. Their aim was to move the water from Madamulana. Mahinda Rajapaksa wanted to take it to his village. Despite the warnings, he decided to give it to Iran at 4 times the cost. The technology used is flawed. This was done to fulfill the selfish political aspirations which are now the burden of President and the Prime Minister. On to more local news this evening, Minister of Higher Education Lakshman Kiryala has requested university students to resume their academics at the universities. He made this request from students who are currently refraining from attending lectures over the Saitam issue. A media briefing was convened by the medical faculty students activist. They are trying to find solutions to these problems by intimidating our parents at home. Students from the medical faculty are prohibited from entering the hostels. When we speak with them, they say that they will allow students to enter the hostels once we give them notice in writing that we will attend lectures again. Recently, we had a vote at the medical faculty in Colombo. 95% of the students opted to resume attending lectures. The vote was the same at the Rohini University. These children are intimidated. I request that these children break all barriers and attend lectures. If there are any allegations against them, we are ready to grant concessions and solve these issues through dialogue. Today, we spend 400,000 on a single university student annually. Every year, 10,000 million rupees flows overseas for education. Doctors maintain big businesses in sending children abroad. When Mahinda Rajapaksa was president, he said that Saitam must be launched. They could have opposed it back then. Today, this is not about opposing Saitam, but it is a force to obtain power. The Satyagraha campaign that commences on the 28th opposite the Fort railway station against private universities took place today as well. Today, a woman expressed her protest towards the Satyagraha campaign. The conduct of the Government Medical Officers Association in relation to the Saitam issue was raised at several political dialogues today. There are private universities all over the world that are up to required standards. Sri Lanka has private hospitals and private medical colleges. They all must be according to required government standard. The St. Petersburg State Medical University in Russia is accepted over the world. When an assistant doctor returned with the qualification, these doctors did not allow their registration. They say that Saitam lacks clinical training. Who could be responsible for the lack of quality? Padiniya from the GMOA or Carlo Fonseca from the Sri Lanka Medical Council. When the Ministry of Higher Education inquired and noted there are shortcomings in relation to clinical training, we proposed for the opening of a private hospital. We are grateful to Dr. Neville Fernando for bearing the cost for the hospital. These people oppose private education. Why are they not opposing the private channeling of doctors? They can work overtime at the hospital and we are prepared to pay for that. They never say anything like that. What they want is provision for them to earn more and stop to the creation of more doctors. That is what they want. News from the Presidential Commission is something that we at Newsfirst have been continuously monitoring and reporting to you. Now, for a period of 62 days, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the Treasury bond issue has recorded evidence from a number of witnesses. It was revealed by the Attorney General's Department that this bond scam had taken place where a pattern in trading was designed to mask real beneficiary.
The auction that led to a public outcry took place on the 27th of February 2015. The Gazette calling for the auction to raise funds was backdated. Central Bank had given the go-ahead to print the Gazette with the former president's signature. A number of witnesses confirmed that former governor of the Central Bank, Arjuna Mahendran, visited the Public Debt Department twice on that day, during and after the auction. Witnesses said Mahendran instructed the PDD to accept 10 billion rupees in bids as opposed to the 1 billion rupees on offer at the auction. Yesterday's witness also confirmed that she overheard the former governor's directive. Public Debt Department recommendation was for 2.6 billion rupees. The Bank of Ceylon placed bids on behalf of Perpetual Treasuries Limited to the tune of 13 billion rupees at this auction. Present Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy said, for the first time in the central bank's history, a primary dealer bid on behalf of another primary dealer at an auction. Dinesh Shafter, Managing Director of First Capital Holdings, testifies that he informed Dr. Harsha De Silva of possible wrongdoing taking place in the auction. The Monetary Board meeting before the auction had decided to explore the possibility of issuing 30-year bonds and not to issue 30-year bonds. Deputy Governor P. Samarasiri believes information may have leaked prior to the auction. Deputy Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe said Mahendran wanted to give a shock to the bond market by raising interest rates. Breakfast meeting on the 26th of February 2015 with then Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake was to discuss repayment for stalled RDA projects. Witnesses say no decision was reached to make payments. Mahendran's lawyers produced letter purportedly from Minister Ravi Karunanayake to release 75 billion rupees. State objects as letter does not have a date. Attorney for Arjuna Mahendran presents leaked draft report from the central bank prepared by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group. Central Bank promises to investigate the leak. Auditor General says Central Bank issued 30-year bonds to raise funds when there were other least cost methods available. Auditor General estimates loss caused by accepting bids amounting to 10.058 billion rupees opposed to accepting 1.308 billion of the face value was 889,358,050 rupees. The total estimated loss from both the auctions on the 27th of February 2015 and 29th of March 2016 was 1.674 billion rupees. For the auction on the 29th of March 2016, Perpetual Treasuries Limited had funded their bond purchases from central bank borrowings using the intraday liquidity facility. Attorney General's Department exposes pattern in trading designed to mask real beneficiaries in bond transaction, and the pattern was designed at the expense of the Employees' Provident Fund. EPF sells bonds at lower price and buys them back at a high price. Intermediary makes profits. Former Deputy Governor W.A. Vijayawardena says during the period in question, the EPF had purchased 140 billion rupees worth of bonds in the secondary market, 80% from perpetual treasuries. The former chairman of COOP, D.E.W. Gunasekara, and present chairman of COOP, Sunil Handunetti, both testified on COOP proceedings into the bond issue. 28 witnesses have testified before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry thus far. It is also paramount to mention that there is a delay in issuing the Gazette on the amended audit bill. Speaking to Newsfirst, Attorney at Law K.N.M. Kumarasinghe, the President of the Sri Lanka Audit Examiners Union, reiterated, according to Article 8.1 of the bill, the Auditor General has the power to investigate how perpetual treasuries limited amassed massive profits. He said the present circumstances have prevented the Auditor General from doing so.
The foundation stone for the construction of the 423rd Udagamana village took place in Anamadu today. The village is named Nirogama and it has been constructed in memory of Sri Lanka Army sniper Ranjit Premasuri, alias Niro, who was killed in actions. Minister Sajid Premadasa provided housing aid to 120 families in the area, while construction equipment was given to 150 masons in the area. This is the period where those who rendered a service are forgotten. We must cherish the services rendered to the country by veterans like Nero. The Ministry of Housing and Construction will build a village in memory of the late Denzel Kobakadu and Vijay Vilmaratna. In addition, we will also name villages after persons like Sarath Fonseca, who rendered a greater service towards this nation and all other veterans in the country. Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca today explained why allegations are being made against former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in relation to present issues.
Today Mahinda Rajapaksa is at fault for everything, be it Uma Oya, Saitam or any other matter. They might even blame me for Syria. This marriage between the UNP and the SLFP will not last long.
Sri Lanka Nidas Pakshe me nawa magul kaya mahamdurune hariyan ne.
He prohibited
the people from speaking against what he did during that time. He cannot make such a rule. During his time, the people were not allowed to speak. Even a small child knows that he started Saitam. The Meet of the Mullah garbage dump grew 4 times its size at that time. Everyone knew that, but he did not. The corruption that took place during the decade he was in power has to be rectified by us. We took over the country that was marred in confusion. He believes that he still has the dictatorial power to claim that this government has no right to speak on the wrong committed during that time. It is better if he tries to become a better man now.
A program to seek public opinion in relation to the preparation of a new constitution took place recently. A conference in this regard was organized in Jaffna yesterday.
It's a fundamental right, the use of language for a person. Right? Today I know that the problem is there. Right? And when we went around the country, there are certain areas people came with the simple thing like letter written in Tamil, the reply comes in Sinhala, right? So that won't happen in the future. Use of language is a fundamental right. So if you get a letter like that, you can go to court. And regarding the use of language in the northern and eastern provinces, in courts and others, they will be liberalized, right? Anywhere in the country, you can use your language. Tamil people can use their language in Sinhala areas, we'll say in Kurunegala or any other area. Similarly, Sinhala people can use his language in the north or east or any place. That is the state that has to give the necessary translations and to provide the facilities for that.
I think it's also important for us to realize our duties and our rights as citizens. Because as we know, government anyway is a mechanism which if you don't check the government, they can arbitrarily affect your rights. So it is up to us, particularly when a constitution creates a right, a language right, at the first transgression, first time something is done to impact on your rights, it's your duty. It is our duty as citizens to go to court. So unless we go to court, I don't think we can complain saying that the constitution is not implemented. If, for example, you go to a police station and they refuse to record your statement, go and apply to the Court of Appeal, which will at that point, if these reforms go through, have the fundamental rights jurisdiction. Once you do that and the court gives an order, that is what will safeguard your rights.
The Muratua University was closed down for 2 weeks today owing to the spread of dengue.
Chetani Abekon, a 25-year-old student at the Moroto University, passed away this morning while receiving treatment at the IDH hospital. Her remains are due to be taken to her residence in Serudandapula, Nawula. Currently, 87 students at the Moroto University are receiving treatment for dengue. The students engaged in a silent protest this afternoon demanding that swift action be taken to address this issue. The Moroto University, issuing a communique, noted that the university will be closed down for 2 weeks. The university hostel and all surrounding hostels will be closed down until the 17th of July.
You're tuned on to the weekend edition of Primetime News. Well, if you missed out on any stories, do not worry. All that will be updated on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. News from the same game, Sri Lanka wicketkeeper Niroshan Dickwella has been sanctioned by the International Cricket Council after a cunning attempt at a stumping during the ODI loss to Zimbabwe in Galle. Dickwella's sanction is relating to conduct that is contrary to the spirit of the game, and he was subsequently fined 30% of his match fee, as well as receiving 2 disciplinary points to put him on the brink of suspension. Well, on that note, we wrap up the weekend edition of Primetime News. It was a pleasure to have you with us this evening. Thank you very much for stopping by. More news follows on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Zola Outspoon. Have yourself a great day ahead.